Hello everybody, and welcome back to another YouTube. So I hope you can hear me all okay. I've changed up the scenery. I've decided I'm going to sit in my balcony in my tracksuit, which is probably a bit silly because it's like 100 degrees out here, but I wanted to make this video quite casual, completely unscripted, and just essentially come on and talk shit to you guys because I wouldn't even say I've been emotional. I definitely haven't been emotional, but I've just been reflecting on sort of everything over the last couple of days and just plotting and planning. And then I was deep in that and I was like, why do I feel the need to always be chasing something and working towards something? And like a lot of people might view that as like a positive thing because you always want more for yourself, right? But there is a point that becomes unhealthy, and I sort of wanted to relate that essentially to health and fitness in general, striving for more, achieving your goals, that sort of thing, which is all amazing things, but there is a point that all of that becomes a little bit unhealthy as well. So that's what today's YouTube is going to be, because as far as I can remember, I have always been the type of person that, like, once I have something in my mind, that's exactly all I'm going to work towards, and it's like tunnel vision until I get there. But then I get there and I used to celebrate these things. Like, I remember when I got my first client on the gym floor, I was so happy. I literally could have celebrated that. And then once I had 20 clients, which was absolutely incredible, because I was still very young. I still didn't have a clue what I was doing. I didn't even understand running a business, and I was making a decent income for somebody that was 19 at the time. And at that point I just started right, okay, I've hit 20, I need 30 now, and just pushing for that. And I wonder where that changed, and I think it's definitely something to do with some sort of childhood trauma or something that I'm always chasing for more. But same goes in terms of your physique. And one thing that I always talk about is we always say we're going to be happy when, right? Whether that's your goals, your business, relationships, friendships, whatever it is, the country you live in. And I feel like I've done it all. From that perspective, I've moved across the world because I thought that was going to make me happier. And don't get me wrong, it did. I fucking love my life here. I absolutely adore my life here. But it wasn't just a matter of oh, I'm going to move and that's going to be amazing. I don't even remember when I moved because I just made it such a normalized thing, and I didn't celebrate it. I fucking moved to Dubai. What's going on? And I didn't celebrate those things. And I think that's so important to do. And it's one thing I always tell my clients, sometimes we get so hyper fixated on the big goal that we want to achieve that we forget to celebrate all the little things that are happening in between, right? And the reason for that is because the goalpost is always getting postponed. So it's you telling yourself, I'll be happy when I lose this weight, but you almost ignore the process in between, right? So if your goal is to lose a stone, you don't celebrate the first pound you lost, the second pound you lost. We don't celebrate those things. We just keep hyper focusing on that stone that you need to lose, or in your opinion, that you're constantly chasing for. And the issue with that is when we're doing that, we forget to enjoy the journey. We forget to be present in our lives, and actually just look around us for a second and be right, hold on a second, me 6 months ago wouldn't even be in this position. I wouldn't even have done this 6 months ago. And I really wish that I didn't approach things that way, and it's something that I'm proactively trying to work on, because sometimes when the goalpost keeps getting pushed back, there's more disappointment that comes with it as well, right? Because obviously the more the goalpost is being pushed back, it means the more you're looking for yourself, and the more that you want for yourself, the harder the goal gets to achieve, right? And whenever it gets a little bit harder, there's a lot more struggles that come with it. There's a lot more stress associated with it. There's a lot more pressure put on you. There's a lot more time management tools that need to be implemented and stuff like that. And I wish I could just look back on these things and be hold on a second, I actually fucking did that. Do you know what I mean? And I feel I've went through so many different phases of that. With even me stepping on stage, years ago, this is something that I considered when I was maybe in my 20s, and I was just in the wrong environment. I was surrounded by the wrong people that stopped me from doing that. So I almost pushed that goal back and just went that's just not for me. I'm not going to do that. When in all reality, I should have been chasing that. But then when I got to a really comfortable position in my life and I was yes, this is exactly what I'm going to do, when it came to the show, don't get me wrong, I celebrated with the girls, like I went out for food and stuff like that, but I don't think I actually celebrated myself. I just celebrated the day because I was working towards that day for so long. But like in between that, I was so dialed in that I don't even remember half of my prep, even though I fucking loved it. Like I loved the prep, I loved how locked in I was, but I don't actually remember going through it. I don't remember, like, I know I lost like 11 or 12 kilo, but I could not tell you when I lost the first couple of kilo. I do not remember when I started seeing abs. I don't know when I lost the body fat. Like I can't remember any of those things because I was chasing something that was so much bigger than that. And yes, eventually I got there and that was amazing. I was buzzing with myself on the day. Like I was really, really proud of myself and stuff. But then that was it, right? And that's the one thing that I feel like we should all be stepping away from, is like that mindset, and really, really just teaching ourselves how to be grateful and present for every single decision that we make in our lives in order to better ourselves, right? And like I said, this can come down to anything, your fitness goals, your life goals, I don't know, like I said, relationships, friendships, anything like that. Like celebrate the actions that you're taking towards that. So if you're somebody that wants to get in the best shape of your life, like celebrate the little things that you know you're changing in between that. So like the first time you step into the gym, celebrate that, you know, like be proud of yourself for that. Show yourself some gratitude and like tell yourself you're proud of yourself, because that's what's going to keep you going. Or that first couple of pounds you lose, be proud of yourself for losing that first couple of pounds or those couple of inches that are coming off, because you're 2 inches or whatever closer to the goal that you want to get to. So whereas I feel like we as humans just like reverse psychology and we constantly put ourselves down for no reason, and rather than thinking like, oh my god, I'm two pound closer to my goal, as an example, we think, oh, I still have another 12 pound to go, and almost put ourselves in a negative headspace for it. And like I know better than anyone where that mindset comes from, and it's almost like I always call myself like a realist over like being delusional in that instance. Don't get me wrong, I'm delusional in a lot of situations, but like everything needs to be logical to me. It needs to make sense, whereas a lot of people will be like, yeah, I'm gonna achieve this and this is what I want and this is how I'm gonna manifest it, kind of thing. Like I'm just not a big believer in that, even though I am very like spiritual from that perspective, but I need logic behind everything that I do. So every action I take, I need to know what the risk and the reward is going to be with it, right? And like I said, I understand better than anyone where that like little bit of a negative mindset comes from, because in your head you're not there yet, so you need to keep working harder and harder and harder. But the issue with being in that almost negative headspace is you're actually gonna slow yourself down, and you're gonna just apply a lot more pressure onto yourself, and you're not gonna allow yourself to enjoy the journey until the destination has been reached. And then another issue with that is because you're constantly going to be striving for more, that goalpost is going to get pushed forward, that goalpost is going to get pushed further away. And then when you actually do get to the destination, you're going to think, right, okay, I did it. What is next? What am I aiming towards next? And there doesn't always have to be something next from that perspective. Like you can reach a point and you can just be content in your life. And this is something that I'm really, really bad for, because like when I look back, Dubai. I think my freaking balcony shook there. Yeah, like when I look back on my life, like me, honestly, about 3-4 years ago, the situation I was in and how unhappy I was and how uncomfortable I was, and that was with everything, right? I didn't enjoy where I was living. I was in a fucking shit relationship that I definitely wasn't enjoying, that was getting me down in a lot of other aspects. My confidence was on the floor. Like I just wasn't moving forward in life in any way, and I always knew I wanted more for myself, but I felt so stuck and I felt in a rut. And I feel like we all get into these situations, whether it's in life, in our fitness, where we just get comfortable and complacent and use that as acceptance, and we just accept ourselves for the way we are. But one thing I will say is you are not stuck. No matter how you feel and no matter what sort of situation you are in, you might feel like you're stuck and you might feel like at the minute you can't get out of it, but I promise you there's always a way out from that perspective. But you are not stuck, and you can change absolutely every single situation that you're in. And I think sometimes we need reminded of that, right? Because looking back then to the girl I was, like I was so unconfident, I was so uncomfortable, and I was so insecure in myself and such a shell of myself that I wouldn't even have spoke to the people around me. Whereas now I have a whole fucking team working for me. Do you know what I mean? I've achieved more or less all of my fitness goals that I had set myself out for life, and like I'm maintaining my physique in such a comfortable way. Like I live my life pretty stress-free. I feel like I'm always stressed subconsciously, but like from the perspective, like nothing really aggravates me anymore. Nothing really frustrates me from that perspective. Like I don't get highs and lows. I'm so like monotonous now. And this is all I ever dreamed of. Like I dreamed of becoming this person that I am now. But now that I'm in it, I'm like, oh, what's next? What's next? What more should I be doing? And sometimes we just need to reflect and be like, look how far you've actually come from all of those aspects. Do you know what I mean? Like if I didn't leave the situation that I was in, I wouldn't have moved countries. I would have never stepped on stage. I would have never healed my relationship with food. I would have never gained my confidence back in terms of my body. And yeah, like I know a lot of people can see that on social media, like the transition for any of you that have been following me for quite some time. Like I get messages all the time of how much more confident I'm appearing and stuff. I like didn't see that for so long. And it's almost nice when other people tell you that, because I'm like, okay, if they're noticing it, it must have been bad. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like people need to remind themselves of that as well, because sometimes we get so comfortable in sitting in the uncomfortable that we almost normalize it. But one thing I will say is, it is not normal to feel uncomfortable in yourself every day. It is not normal to be in environments that make you unhappy every day. It is not normal to wake up and feel low every single day, feel deflated, feel unmotivated with every single thing that you're doing. That is not normal, and that is not your life, okay? You live this life once, you show up to this earth once, unless you believe in afterlife and all of that, whatever, I'm not judging. But you are literally here to live this life once, and it's your fucking life to live. Like you should not let any external circumstances change that, right? So like I am the biggest believer in like you can literally do whatever it is that you want to do. Yes, certain people will have more complex situations and different like external factors that impact it, but you can still always move forward and get closer to your goal, right? Because you are the creator of your life. You make the choices that you want to make. You make the changes that you want to make. And like one thing I will say, and it's the best thing that I've ever done, is I stepped out of that victim mentality and just sitting in acceptance that this was my life. This is the way my body was going to be. This is how I was going to be. And I realized that once I overcame that, I was actually a completely different person. And now I can say like I'm the most authentic version of myself in every single way possible. In my business and my friendships and my relationships and meeting people, anything like that, I'm always so authentic. Whereas beforehand, I wouldn't even say I was fake. I was just quiet. I wouldn't have been making a conscious effort to make connections or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because I was so insecure in myself. And this is why it's so important, because that identity shift that I had with my health and fitness journey overall, and like focusing on my confidence, focusing on healing my relationship with food, moving my body, showing up for myself, and keeping the promises that I kept making to myself and actually pushing through with those, that made me become the person that I am today, and that's a person that I'm proud of now. You know, like I said, like if I didn't start with those little daily actions, if I didn't start with making those changes with my life in terms of my health and fitness, in terms of, you know, building better habits, building a better relationship with food, with my body, you know, and proactively working on these things, I would not have got to the point where I am. I would have definitely not moved country. I would have definitely not grown a business to the size that it is now, which is fucking phenomenal. I would have felt comfortable. I would have just been in my own little bubble, and I would have stayed there and never actually been truly happy. Do you know what I mean? And that's not to say like, do I feel truly happy now? I don't know. I actually don't know. From the perspective, I'm very happy with where I'm at in life. I'm very happy with the position I'm in. I'm very happy with my business. I'm very happy with where I live and stuff like that. But do I still have bigger goals, and do I still have things that I'm working towards? 110%. But like I said, I'm trying to be so much more present and just enjoying the current moment and just being present in the situation that I'm in, because the last couple of years, like I've been working so much on personal development and improving myself and improving all of these habits and routines and working on my relationship with food, body, everything else. I've been so focused on that I forgot to actually be present whilst doing all of those things. I was just chasing more to come out the other side. And now that I am out the other side, I'm like, okay, so what do I actually need to do now? Yes, I still have bigger goals, but I also want to just be present and enjoy myself for the way I am now and where I've actually come to. But I don't really know if there was much purpose with this video, to be completely honest, but it's something that's been playing on my mind quite a lot, and I know for a fact that there's going to be at least one person that's going to resonate with it. And I hope this helps you from that perspective, like to actually just overcome the barriers that you feel like you're stuck in, and just remind yourself to be proud of yourself for every single step that you take, and be present in that every single step that you take, because that is where true transformation and your true journey happens. Whereas if you're only focusing on the end destination, which look, a lot of us are, because we want to get to the furthest point, to the best position, right? Like if you're only focusing on that, you'll be like me and you look back over the last couple of years and be like, what did I actually do with those years? Like, I achieved so much, but I don't remember achieving those things. I don't remember celebrating those things because I was so hyper focused on doing better and doing more. And that's all being well and good, because if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in now. But I could have went through that, enjoyed it, and still been in the position that I'm in now, you know. So that's a big goal I'm setting for the remainder of this year for sure. And like I said, it's just something that's been playing on my mind. But I hope somebody resonated with this and it wasn't just a random ramble. I've literally talked there for 15 minutes without a single note in front of me, so obviously I had plenty to say on that. But I hope you all have a beautiful Monday, and I shall see you next week, back to the usual content, because I'm going to stop being a sop. Because yeah, that's the way we've been feeling recently. But hope everybody's good. I hope you've had a beautiful week. I hope this resonated with somebody, and if it did, drop a comment below or even message me on Instagram. Just talk to me a little bit more about that. I'm always here to help and sort of like help remind you of the things that you've accomplished to date, you know. And I do it with my clients all the time, so I should really do it with myself more. But yeah, hope everybody's good, and I shall catch up with you all next week.